Well, hello there. It's the night before Christmas, and Jimmy and Wright are here for a festive footballing treat.
Yes, match week 19 sees Liverpool return to English shores as world champions ahead of a match against second-place Leicester.
We're going to be sitting down with fantastic Mr. Fox, Jamie Vardy, deadliest striker in the Premier League, as he eyes up Van Dijk and co.
Yes, as Man United prepare to host Newcastle, we ask, is the world's most expensive goalkeeper costing United more than just his hefty price tag?
Interesting. We'll also be around all of the Premier League grounds ahead of the 9 fixtures taking place this Boxing Day. My word, there's a lot to unwrap. And giving us their presence today, we've got former Liverpool right-back Glen Johnson and European football expert Raphael Honigstein.
We start with a clash at the King Power. The top two go toe-to-toe in a game that could see the Reds land a knockout blow.
Wow, there we go. How very, very exciting. Evening on Boxing Day, and we get officially the best team in the world, Glenn, going at it against their nearest rivals in the Premier League.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Obviously coming back with a lot of confidence after, like I say, their time away in Qatar, and obviously they've got their toughest game that they're going to have for a while. So, like I say, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, you saw the final against Flamengo. How did you feel about Liverpool's performance?
I think they performed better in the final than they did in the semi, but it still wasn't the free-flowing Liverpool. Yeah. But I think Flamengo caused them a hell of a lot more problems than they were anticipating. And obviously that's going to the extra time to obviously get the win. But they had some spells, but like I say, Flamengo played well, to be fair, and they played with no fear, and as a South American side, they was great on the ball and caused Liverpool a lot of problems.
Right, the final going to 2 extra time, so you've got the 2 tough matches out there, but you've also got all the travelling. If only I mean, you, Wright, you took several weeks to get back to your normal levels after your recent intercontinental trip.
Yeah, but look, I don't think, as much as people think that, they're travelling is probably first class, you're travelling very comfortably, it still does take a little bit out of you in respect of your energy. People seem to have a laugh at footballers' expenses, but the travelling does take a bit out of you. Sometimes the zone as well, the time zone, it does take a bit out of you. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Liverpool get on. But like in respect to the game and the way they played, Liverpool, they've won another game where they've not played like scintillating stuff. They've just won a game. They're getting it done, and they'll bring that back to the Premier League. They know what needs to be done.
Crazy thing is, Rafa, it wasn't that long ago that Jurgen Klopp was the man who couldn't win trophies.
Yeah, well, he's certainly lost a few finals since moving from Dortmund especially. But I think Liverpool now have this belief, this confidence that whatever happens during the game, we will somehow find a way of winning. And I think that for the opposition is incredibly frustrating and perhaps slightly frightening. Yeah. And we've seen that even in the Premier League, where it comes to the 85th minute or it comes into the the final spells, and the belief is still there that they somehow will do something. This is not coincidence that they found these late winners. It comes from that deep-seated confidence that we will do it. But I think Leicester can still look at what Liverpool have done over the last few weeks, I think with the exception of the Manchester City game, and think this is not a Liverpool team that is necessarily firing on all cylinders. They do concede a few chances. They do let the opposition dominate a little bit with the ball. We have a chance here.
I think if Leicester watch the Watford game, that should give them a lot of confidence, because Liverpool were very open. Watford missed clear gilt-edged chances, and if Leicester, the way they started against City, if they go for them like that, then it could be a very interesting game.
One negative about the trip was that the injury to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who of course has had so many problems in this department already. How's that going to impact him, and also how much is that going to affect Jurgen Klopp's plans, do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, it's a big shame for him, obviously for Liverpool as well, but he's done so well to find form so quickly after being out for such a long time, and obviously to get an unfortunate one like that looked quite bad and looks like it's going to be at least a few weeks. For him mentally, it's going to be tough, and he does seem to get a lot of these injuries, so he'll be used to it, and it'll be no surprise to him. But it's definitely a loss, because the squad is quite light, as we saw in the semi-final in Qatar. It's a few injuries, and the team know about it, so it would definitely be a miss. How they're going to work it out now, and fingers crossed for him, it's only a couple of weeks as opposed to 4.
All right. Okay. If you've got any thoughts on any of the Boxing Day fixtures or any of the things we're going to be talking about today, do let us know with the hashtag PL Countdown via Twitter. Now, Jurgen Klopp then 3 trophies to his name in the last 5 months and a trip to Leicester coming up on Thursday that could set him up for a 4th. Let's get the manager's thoughts.
They are a proper top-class team in the situation where people still speak about them like a little bit, oh, how did they come there? But the quality they have is exceptional, plus the manager they have makes a really good mix. And so we are aware of that. But that's it. Apart from that, we will prepare like we always do. And at the end, so far they only played us once. And now we have to show that we can a few things from the first game at least again, because it was a good game. It was with a probably Leicester will see it with an unlucky end for them with the penalty, but the situations around the penalty and around the goals we scored and around the chances we had, where we played there really good football, and that's what we have to do again.
Well, he's looking calm and relaxed, but perhaps he wouldn't be if he saw this graphic. Good Lord, the last 3 teams to have been leading at Christmas but yet not win the title.
Oh my gosh.
They've all been Liverpool. One of them, of course, with the man they're going to be facing on Thursday, Brendan Rodgers there in 13-14. How decisive, if Liverpool win, Rafa, how decisive will this game be?
I think if they win, it might be the decisive game. I think it'd be very, very difficult for Leicester to come back. I think it's very difficult already for Manchester City to come back, to put another 3 points between you and your best competitor or the closest rival is absolutely huge, especially if you consider that Liverpool have had problems in January in recent weeks. So just have that bit more of a cushion will really help for all sorts of reasons. So I don't know if it's going to be the game that will sort of decide the title here and now, but in terms of sort of paving the way for what is looking or shaping up to be Liverpool's title winning season, I think it could be another big milestone.
I think this is the best Liverpool defence when we look at those 3, that caption of those 3 teams. This Liverpool defence and as good as they are much better than those guys. And I feel that the amount of points they're in front at the moment and the fact that they're not playing great, but they're doing more than enough to win the games because of the front men that they've got.
Right.
So I think that it's the defence what they're going to be. This is going to all come down to the defence.
Right. Nobody's actually been this far ahead and not win the title, even though we've seen Liverpool lose the lead. But this kind of margin, 10 points at the moment, of course, there's only one club that's done it, Glen, and it's the infamous Kevin Keegan Newcastle. That was a spectacular car crash of a title. It was
a beautiful car crash. Yeah. It's a beautiful car crash. Yeah. What on the outside looking in. Yeah. You know.
But I mean, there's nothing about this side that suggests the same kind of emotional fragility, I think.
No, and as you guys are saying, Liverpool are where they are, and they haven't been blowing teams away. It's not like they've been playing out their skin and winning 3-4-0 every week. A lot of the games they're scraping, and possibly would have been games that they would have got a draw last season, but they've got that winning edge now where they keep going to the end and they've got a lot of late goals. So I think the fact that they haven't found full throttle at the moment is only good for them, and they still find themselves 10 points in front with a game in hand. So
10 points could be 13 by the end of Thursday's match, or it could be down to 7 because Leicester unbeaten at home so far this season, and they came pretty close to taking points off Liverpool in the previous encounter at Anfield. 2-1 it finished, but Maddison opening up the scoring back in October. Equalising after Sadio Mane there, and then it was that late and slightly controversial penalty that saw Liverpool take the win.
But it's the way Liverpool came back in that game, and we know people are talking about the contact here. Again, it still comes down to Liverpool knowing what it takes to have to win a game. They know that the way City were and the way City are going to be, and Leicester, we've seen Leicester's emergence, draws ain't good enough. And you know what I mean, it's brilliant. It's a great penalty from Milner. And again, it was a game that you think, oh my gosh, Liverpool could draw this, end up winning it. And that's all you need to do when you're going for the league.
The manner of the win was quite close and a little bit controversial, but actually I think throughout the game Liverpool had done enough to win this game. And this has sometimes been the story. You know, they dominate in terms of the quality of the chances created. It might not be immediately visible in the scoreline, but this game was one of those where you looked after the game, you looked at, you know, how many times did the keeper really have to make proper saves, what were the quality of the chances. the fortunate way of scoring later on didn't actually reflect quite how good Liverpool were. They were quite considerably better than Leicester in that game.
Okay.
Okay, Brendan Rodgers came so close to the league title with Liverpool in 2014 and is now on the opposing side as he hopes to make history repeat itself.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Liverpool. It's a fantastic achievement, and whether they sit as European champions or world champions, it's a great status to have. So very well done to them. We recognise it's again another difficult game for us. However, we're at home. We want to bring our sort of true game. We know it's going to be incredibly difficult. They're one of the real consistent teams at this level now for a period of time. But again, it's another great measure for us and another great test for us. So yeah, I think they'll come back on a real high, and they'll look to continue with their work like they've shown over the last couple of years. It's been to a really high level.
Measured stuff from the Leicester boss.
You know, he says all the right things there, James, but you know, Glenn, he's desperate to beat Liverpool. 7 points, you know, going to Leicester, a team that, let's face it, they are very good from goalkeeper all the way up to the front man, but he knows that this Leicester side, 7 points and putting the pressure on Liverpool and not playing great, he knows that he's in with half a chance. He's got a smidgen of a chance.
When you say he's desperate, is that because he wants to prove that Leicester can beat the big clubs like they didn't do last weekend against Man City, or because it's personal with Liverpool?
I think you can have it. There's a bit of... do you think... I think so as well, Glenn, simply because it didn't quite happen for him with Liverpool. You have to say... I'd say it's just down to him. He had the team to do it.
Right.
But for me, I think that he'll want to do it with Leicester and stop Liverpool, who look like they're on a charge to do it.
Right.
And plus, he used to be the manager there.
Start of the season, I mean, it is remarkable the job he's done, whether he beats Man City last weekend or not. Start of the season, people were saying, well, maybe they could break into the top 6 or top 4. And look at them now. They look nailed on for at least second place. It's a brilliant job.
It is. And I don't think many people were saying they can break into the top 4. I don't remember them being mentioned in that conversation that either of them was going to finish ahead of Man United or Arsenal or Chelsea. It's a huge surprise, I think, already how consistent they have been in his first year in the job and really changing the complete style of the game. If you remember how Leicester played last season and how they played before, this is like a third new way of playing, if you will, in the space of 3 years.
What's the big difference then about it now?
Well, he's made them a possession side, which is really the most difficult way of playing because it puts the emphasis on you with the ball, and every time you pass the ball, there's a chance of getting it wrong, a chance of being too open. You have to have brilliant players, you have to have real confidence, and you have to have the perfect sort of spatial positioning, not just with the people trying to receive the ball, but also those who have to sort of be already prepared for when you do lose the ball, to be in the right position to either press or to not...
Jamie Vardy, who's conserving his energy to make some superb runs. So again against Manchester City, or they can play through the midfield with Tielemans, Maddison and Ndidi and get the ball up to the front men who they're just who is absolutely, like you've seen, he's 17 goals, he's absolutely on fire.
Yeah. The defeat at Manchester City, which was in the end quite a heavy defeat, scoreline anyway, and I think performance as well. Will that in any way have an effect on their confidence, their performance this time around, or do you think that's just Kevin De Bruyne being Kevin De Bruyne?
Yeah, I don't think it will, because let's face it, City can do this to anyone. And if you look at the position Leicester are still in, without this game helping them whatsoever, I think it's still a credit to themselves. They could have bettered their position by getting a point from City, but let's face it, it's City, it's kind of a bonus game. So the fact that they're still well ahead of City and close enough to Liverpool to make a challenge, I think they should just carry on doing what they're doing.
That said, the problems that Chilwell, for example, had trying to police Mahrez and the pairing of KDB and Mahrez down that side, is that something that you can see Klopp trying to exploit with the likes of Salah or Mane?
Well, absolutely. I mean, this Liverpool team always attack through the wings. It's usually with the fullbacks pushing up, and then you have an out-and-out wide player, sometimes 2 when the guy from the middle comes over, even 3 of them trying to overload certain areas. So that is the way to do it, because the midfield, as we know from Liverpool, are quite functional. They're not going to play through the middle a lot. They try to go wide quite early in the game, and then the real playmaking often happens from Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, and Brendan would have gone crazy about that goal as well.
Yes,
because
inside,
although it was too easy to go past Chilwell, he kind of didn't have... When that ball landed at Mahrez's feet, no one was past the middle of the pitch. So he was the only one near him. So you kind of have to wait to let people get closer to help you, but by that time Mahrez is flying and it's too difficult to stop. So that ain't for me all down to Chilwell at the moment, but Brendan would definitely wanted everyone to shuffle over.
Yeah, but then you'd see that, Glenn, and then Liverpool see that and see that that is a weakness.
It's possible. Exactly.
That's a weakness because Salah would do exactly what we saw Mahrez do. He'll get the ball and he'll tack him on inside, which, you know, I mean, you can't let him go inside. And like you say, Trent Alexander come on the outside. It could be a big problem for them.
Yeah, they would have worked on that for sure, knowing that they're playing against Liverpool next.
Yeah.
Big danger for Leicester, but of course they've got one or two weapons of their own, not least the incredible Jamie Vardy, who we'll be hearing from very, very shortly. Just to have a quick look at the fixtures coming up from Leicester, though, because if they were to win this on Thursday, you could see them maybe picking up some more points. Yeah, maybe narrow it to 7 on Thursday, nick a point or two, make it a bit interesting by spring. What do you think, Rafa?
It's not impossible the way that they've been going. They also have no European football to deal with, which is a real bonus, I think, at that stage of the season. You can really concentrate on what's going on domestically. Liverpool have more to do in that respect. But it would need Leicester, to be as consistent. It would also still need Liverpool to drop more points. And they've only dropped 2 points all season.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is not a lot.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Not a lot.
It's not a lot at all.
Well, he's enjoying himself at the moment, and who wouldn't when you're top scorer for the calendar year 2019? Not just top scorer, but miles ahead of his nearest competition, Sadio Mane. Mane's been on fire. So what does that say about Jamie Vardy, a striker who has come through non-league, who started his top-flight career late on, who in his early 30s is enjoying some of the best form of his career? Does that sound familiar, Ian Wright?
You know what, you have to give him a lot of credit for, and when he done it at the time, I was thinking, well, I still think he's got a bit to offer, is when he retired from England. And I think that retiring from England and getting a manager like Brendan Rodgers who is conserving him, when you look at Jamie Vardy and the way he works, and, you know, if he didn't have those players that were like the Maddisons, like the Tielemans, to play balls into areas where he's not making lung-busting runs, but he's making a 5-yard run and he's in on goal. He's conserving energy and playing a lot more intelligent. He's getting a lot more chances, and what he's doing is taking them.
Right.
You know, he's playing in a very, very good team.
But for anyone not familiar with your career history, I mean, there are similarities, no? You started off, what, Greenwich Borough?
Yeah, I was playing Sunday
So
morning
you made
football,
it to the top, to the top line at the age of 25. He was at 27.
I was 22 when I signed for Palace.
Right.
You know, but like, I played Sunday morning football up until 22, but it was a very, very good standard. But like, you know, you come into it, you don't think for 1 second that you're going to end up doing what you're doing. You just, once I started, James, I just really focused on working as a striker and learning everything about being a striker. 'Cause Sunday morning football's totally different to being a professional striker. I had to learn about holding it up and where not to try and do skills, and where, you know what I mean, you have to make runs for other people. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, it was like going to university. You know what I mean? It was amazing. I loved it, but in the end, it worked out okay.
All right. Well, you'd lived what would they call an athlete's life through the 20s. Jamie Vardy, I'm not so much sure about that. He had a lot of talk of all his Skittles and energy drinks and stuff. Are you surprised, Glenn, at the amount of energy he's got at almost 33?
Well, yeah. The good thing for him, he's got that build.
Right.
He's got like the Ashley Cole build where they can run all day and they don't ever seem to get tired, which is a great asset. But he obviously looks after himself a lot better now that he's getting a bit older, and it's showing in his performances.
Oh, it's brilliant, that finish. That was really good. And when you look at the way, like I say, the way he's using his pace and his attributes so well, is that he's not making 20 yards to get past Fernandinho. He's got past him a couple of yards, and then it's all about the composure of the finish, and that was fantastic.
Yeah. Title-winning season, they beat Liverpool 2-0 at the King Power, and he got a brace. You know, just saying. I mean, yeah, I think it could be a key player on Thursday, Rafa.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think there's also some tactical benefit to this new system to him, because he's now a little bit closer to the rest of the side. Often in the past, he'd be really far up front. They'd look for him. When it doesn't quite work out, it's very frustrating. You feel like you're doing all this running for nothing. Now I think you're a little bit closer to the action. You can then concentrate on making those little darty runs.
Yes.
And perhaps the age then doesn't make such a big of a difference.
Absolutely.